Hello everybody, my name is Michael and welcome back to Sovereign Gaming in Life Sims. You see, I finally got the title of my YouTube channel right, but that is one of the disadvantages to pre-recording everything so early, is that when you do decide to make big changes like that, you just can't catch up with the videos you've already edited. It's just too much work to try to catch up with. So it was a small detail I was willing to kind of take the hit on the chin for. But yeah, from this point going forward, Sovereign Gaming in Life Sims. So it's the channel where I build worlds, lots, and share my thoughts on video games within the life simulation gaming space. You heard it here first, and this won't be the last time you hear the intro either. Anyways, I'm just kind of laughing at my own shortcomings there. Today we are back in the Create a World project of The Sims 3, and that is SimCity that we have been working on for the past couple of months. And I have got a really great episode for you here because I am adding in an iconic river delta to the world. And the reason why it's iconic is that it's finally a geographical piece that I am proud of, firstly, and secondly, it turned out really beautiful in my opinion. I thought it looked really great. So I am very excited to share that journey with you guys and just to kind of show you what's going on with that and the vision forward. But yeah, a little bit of history here, and the decision why I decided to make the river in the first place is that I really did want something to border the Bluewater Village tree line there, so it borders that graveyard piece as well as parts of the Bluewater Village suburb neighborhood. And I really wanted a body of water to help separate like the urban neighborhoods from the rural neighborhoods. So there's going to be a bridge eventually that crosses from the rural highway and whatnot. So I'll get that. That's not until further down the line. So I don't even do any road work this episode, if I'm going to be honest with you guys. But yeah, it was a piece that really turned out well. I think it turned out beautiful because I do end up painting it that beautiful blue that we are so well accustomed to at this point in the SimCity build. So very excited to continue with working on this with you guys. The reason why I think that the River Delta turned out to be such a great looking and beautiful piece in the SimCity world is because I work a lot with the terrain heights under the water. And I've mentioned this many times before, but the trick to getting the blue paint from the sunlit tides texture to look nice is not necessarily the color itself, but it's actually your terrain heights underwater. So the closer you have it to the surface, the brighter it is, and the more deeper it is, the darker it is, and all of that. So the river delta really turned out nice because I really wanted to communicate that the river was pushing a lot of sand, a lot of soil out into the mouth of the river and into the ocean, which leads to these islands that you see here kind of building up out of sand and soil and whatnot. I even placed vegetation on these islands, so they just really turn out nicely, in my opinion anyways. So yeah, and these terrain heights to help communicate that a lot of sand and soil is being gathered from up the river downriver, I suppose. The terrain heights really help to make the blues change a lot of colors. Now, granted, I've got to go back and do a lot of editing when it comes to the water and all of that, but for the water bodies that I am confident will stay a shape that they are in now or a similar shape, I am not afraid to at least apply some texture paint to it, unlike before when I was starting the series. So yeah, this bright blue texture paint makes an appearance and it does wonders. I also want to take a moment to kind of talk about the scale of the SimCity world that I'm building. And if you haven't already guessed, this world is large. It is huge. I've given you guys many shots about all the terrain that I still have yet to deal with and all that, and that's not even including the borders, which I might just sink into water if I don't end up using a nice vista object that actually makes sense, but that is like one of the last episodes that I'll ever film. Anyways, this world is huge. It is not for the faint of heart. It is not for unfortunately, like, to include this world in your game, it will take a bit of running power. And because this game was created in 2009 and because my vision for it was so large, I decided that a large world like this was really the only way to deliver on that vision. But with that said, I will be uploading this world with absolutely no lots built on it, except for maybe the harbor lots there, because trying to export it without the harbor lots might prove to be difficult, knowing my technical finesse. But yeah, I will be exporting this world with a lot of lots that are just not filled in, and then I'll upload the lots separately so that players can download them and insert them into the world as they see fit. So just kind of giving that choice to people there. For example, to give you an idea of how large the world is, in one of my the last time that I created a world in the Sims 3 Create a World tool, I ended up using like 180 lots, and it was for another city build. It was ugly as ever, and this one is like miles ahead in terms of beauty and all that, and for me, that is a lot. But yeah, the last world that I built had 180 lots to it. It was something I could run smoothly on an older computer. Like on this computer that I'm running on it now, it is a gaming computer and all that. But in my last computer, which was built in 2014, it was not a gaming computer, but it still ran that world quite smoothly. And I did absolutely build on pretty much all 180 of those lots. I pretty much don't have a social life, you guys, if you couldn't tell. Anyways, yeah, when I export this version of SimCity, it's going to come with empty lots. I'm going to leave that to the player's choice on how they want to fill up those lots. And then as I develop the lots in the game, as I am now pretty much forced to, I'll upload those lots wherever I upload my world at, and then players can make a choice whether they want to upload my lots into their world, if they want to create their own lots. It's completely up to them. So yeah, like for those of you that are worried about whether this world is going to run on your computer, I would say it's all within the lots. The trees that I use, even when I start decorating the hills with some trees this episode, I don't end up using a whole lot of trees. If I'm going to be completely honest, so the objects really aren't there. The only thing that there's a lot of is really roads and street lights, and even then I'm done most of the street lights anyways. And there are a couple of other objects here and there. Like I honestly don't feel like I've gone overboard when it comes to decorating with objects at this point anyways. I still have to do detailing episodes towards the end of the series. But yeah, for those of you worried about this world running in your game, I think you should be okay. If I was able to run a world similar to this for a computer that was built back in 2014, I would even want to call it 2012. If it was able to run a similar size lot very smoothly for me, even with like custom content, downloads, NRAS mods and all that, then I think this will be fine for a computer that is built like after 2012 or after 2014. So I'm personally not worried about that yet, or I'm not worried about that for you guys at all. But yeah, in order to deliver on this vision, I really needed a large world, and I'm not afraid to make it large either. So yeah, that's kind of something I wanted to share with you guys there. And again, the vision of SimCity is really to offer Sims 3 players a chance to play an entire franchise's worth of expansion pack content within one world. That way you aren't switching to different worlds to access different features. Now with that said, I have no idea what I am doing with the diving lots, because I tried making a custom one of those way back in the day. It's terrible. It is absolutely awful to try to make a diving lot. So I have no idea what I'm doing with that, if that's even possible, if I even want to do it, etc., etc. Like if somebody has a smooth way of just like getting it into the game, feel free to comment in the comment section below. If I had it my way, I would just download a diving lot off the exchange somewhere, or even just use one of the ones that came with Island Paradise and just copy it over and paste it into a lot here and just kind of call it a day, or maybe do a couple of those. But yeah, again, for those that are versed in developing diving lots and that, leave a comment below. Like I tried following a guide way back in the day, and it was a mess in terms of like dealing with the water heights and all of that. So yeah, aside from diving lots, likely, I really want to offer players and hidden islands. I'm not doing hidden islands either. If diving lots are out of the question, hidden islands are absolutely out of the question. I have no idea what I'm doing there. So yeah, I really wanted to offer players most of the features from the entire Sims franchise to play with within one single world, with the exception of diving lots and likely hidden worlds. And in order to do that, had to be a larger world. And I also wanted to offer players a chance to tell stories through their Sims and all that. And that really came in the form of offering different neighborhoods that players can play in. So you have those urban dense neighborhoods. You have both rich dense neighborhoods and the rich mansion hill neighborhood as well. So, and there's also the starter home neighborhood, which offers many opportunities there. There's going to be rural neighborhoods. Well, I call them neighborhoods, more like rural lots. Let's be clear. But there's many different lifestyles that Sims could actually fulfill within a journey there. And yeah, that is reflected in all the different neighborhoods that I've developed, both urban and rural. And technically, you can play out an entire Sims life within one neighborhood, and you know, they won't ever have to leave that neighborhood. Sounds kind of like one of those like weird 15-minute cities, but but it's a little more reflective of real life, because you'd still have to commute to work and all of that. So yeah, that was really the vision here. And in order to deliver on that vision, SimCity had to be a large world. And that's just really the simple fact for it. And you know, with being able to offer it as empty lots, and that will just give players even more options and choice when it comes to how full they want the SimCity world to be. Turning our attention back to what's going on screen here, I'm just adding in some textures into the hills, into the mountainside / hills within the rich mansion neighborhood, which remains unnamed at this point. So yeah, if that vote has gone on, well, I apologize for not referring to its actual name there. Anyways, I said before I struggle with creating hillsides and mountains and all that, and that also carries over to the textures as well. Now, I actually like this rock texture that I just kind of referenced from using one of the references that I've been using for the Create a World build that I've been having here. I completely forget what the world is called, so I do apologize. But yeah, this is I like this texture. I do like how these hills actually turn out, and in the next episode I'll finally get a chance to add some trees into them, and so that just really helps to bring things to life. And yeah, so yeah, these hills on the facing northwards will be decorated with some of those terrain textures there. Now, it isn't perfect on the terrain that I have painted as this rockier texture, but that was something that I kind of always knew would happen. And like, for example, I just needed to turn around the camera a few more times. I missed a couple of spots here and there, but that is a job for future me to do when I get to some detailing episodes at the end of the Create a World series here. So there's that. So yeah, if you think that I'm missing a bunch of things with the terrain and all of that, don't worry. I'm coming back. I fully intend to come back, and terrain fixes is absolutely on the top of my list for that. So yeah, for the backs of the mountains that face southwards, I decided not to really paint any of those. I feel like there are steep grassy hills back in the day, not back in the day, but that exist. And my reference for that is actually some of the islands in Hawaii. You actually see some really steep grassy cliffs and all that. Specifically, Jurassic Park was the reference for that. When I was a kid and watched the first one, the first Jurassic Park had these really steep grass mountains, and I was just confused by that as a kid. But no matter. But yeah, that was kind of the inspiration there. I also, if I'm going to be honest, I also got a little lazy, and I was like, okay, this is a steep grass mountain. I might come back and fix it. I might not. I've still yet to decide on that. But they were quite smoothed out, which was one of my criteria for leaving certain hill ridges as grass and others as being painted with the rocky texture that you see there. So yeah, if it's smooth and could be considered a hill, I tried to leave it as grass, whereas if it had more edges to it or if it was a little more jagged, I painted it out as the rockier texture there, just kind of where it made sense. Or if there was like a really steep like wall or something, I tried to paint that around with the texture. I still think that it turned out pretty well though. As I finish up painting these hills for that mansion district or that mansion neighborhood that I keep talking about, I just want to give you guys a heads up on what's coming next, and I'm going to tease that it is huge. It makes these cliffs and these cliffs and bluffs look like little molehills. That's all I'm gonna say on that one there, because the next episode, if you thought that I sucked at making terrain heights and cliffs and all of that, you're gonna think I suck even more with this next episode that's coming up, that's on the horizon. So prepare your disappointment for what is to come, because the next episode, I actually, I'm just being hard on myself. Then I actually really enjoy what happens in the next episode, and you guys will see it to come very shortly. And the thing is that now we are at the time where I can focus less on road layouts, which I think you guys are appreciating, and focus more on making the world come together and making the geography make sense, where I think the really fun parts are here. So instead of seeing me place down these Sarah Morrison streetlights and whatnot, there's a lot less of that going forward, and it's more about the geography and really developing this world into something that looks nice. This is really where we start to switch from form into aesthetic, even though there are a couple of more lots and neighborhoods that I want to place in here. Like, we are up to 180, by the way. I forgot to mention that before. I am very excited to kind of see what comes and how those neighborhoods develop. I can easily say that there are under 20 more lots that I want to place, and some of them are pretty big. And I think that you guys are going to enjoy and see how this vision comes to life now that we are at that point in the SimCity series here. Anyways, I think that about does it for the episode. Please stick around for the tours. It looks phenomenal. I do a couple of things off camera as well, just to do some like small fixes here and there. Like after I finish filming, I always catch like a little something that I need to fix. So those fixes are made. I think it's just like terrain paints or something. And yeah, so please, if you've enjoyed this series, if you enjoy my channel's work and all that, feel free to like and subscribe. You're more than welcome to do so. And of course, if you have any kind of feedback or questions or concerns at all, just feel free to drop a comment as well. Anyways, I just want to thank you again for watching, and I hope you have yourself a wonderful day.